And welcome to the community episode of Dota Academy. Hello everybody, this is Party PD and welcome to the second to last episode of Dota Academy. It doesn't mean that the whole Dota Academy series is done, as we will have to do guides on every single hero in Dota 2. So make sure you stay tuned for those. We'll talk into every hero in depth in its own little separate episode for each of them. It'll be probably like 4-minute long episodes, basically. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second to last episode. And the episode that we're going to do for this one is going to be called the community episode. So it's pretty easy to explain what the Dota community is. If you've ever played a massive online battle arena game, much like League of Legends or Smite, hell, even Paladins, you can understand that the community is based around a large percentage of very specific types of people. So I can start off in the get-go is that every community has its toxicity base. Dota 2, since it's a high complexity game requiring so many different mechanics in order for the game to function, the toxicity portion of the community is relatively high in comparison to others because of its complexity requirement in order to play the game. Well, you can play the game without needing to know the complexity requirement, but it's not really a requirement either. It's just something that's very hard to come across for some people that come straight into the game randomly. But the community is a very important thing about almost any massive online battle arena game, as the community usually forges the path for the games in the future. The only reason why I decided to make the community one a very separate episode, even if it's not that long of an episode, is because the community kind of funds almost the whole of Dota 2. Because in Dota, like we talked about in the... Well, actually, we haven't yet. Cosmetics will be the last episode. But cosmetics kind of run the world of Dota 2. If we look at the store here, you can see that there's all these top sellers and treasures and stuff like that. The community is based within a large percentage of people that are able to support the game, as well as any mods like auto chess, where it was first created in the Dota client. The community supports that kind of stuff. And because of the community being so destined to try and pick up these cosmetics, it also supports the game from the inside. So that's why the community is an important thing for Dota 2, because the community makes Dota 2 Dota 2. Especially when the international comes around, because when the international comes around, that's when the big prize pools come in, and the prize pool for the Dota 2 international is community raised, in the sense that it's crowdfunding. They come out with the battle pass every year, and usually results in a lot of people buying the battle pass, me, myself included. We can go to my profile real quick. You could see the levels of my battle passes in the future. You could see there's some other people on my lists that are like, they have like 10,000, 20,000s. But the battle pass is one of the ways that community kind of makes a big portion in the Dota 2 world. And that's why community is a very important thing in Dota 2. But the other problem is that a lot of people don't really look at trying to make the community more of a friendlier place in Dota 2. So back to our original point is that each community has its own toxic baseline. And Dota is no exception. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of other games that do have toxicity in it. But Dota 2 is probably, as it's one of the highest complexity games, also one of the higher toxicity rates within the game itself. But overall, the community is a hard thing to establish, because a lot of people like to play 5-stack Dota. Some don't. They'll do solo queue, which is just fine as well, especially now that there's ranked roles. But the biggest thing about it is that the community forges a player's desire to play again in the future, which would be almost paramount to a Dota 2 player. As you can see, the last month, it says 8.2 million unique players. Now, those unique players logged in for at least half a minute, and that's what that counter is. There's 370k in game right now, which is still very low in comparison to our community in the past. But that's because there's nothing that's really holding the newer community of players to come in and stay, because there's no Dota introductory system. There's nothing in the Learn tab that actually helps a new player understand the game. We have last hit training and baseline tutorials with mechanics. And then the 5th mechanic throws you into a multiplayer match anyway. So there's not really too much that holds over new players that will become future community members of Dota 2. So the best way I could put it is that, like I said, the community is paramount to Dota 2's success. But the community needs to look at it and understand that the situation of Dota 2 is slowly decreasing due to the fact that the community outreach as well as the strength of the community is weak. And the toxicity percentage of it doesn't really help new players come in and understand the game. Now, since this is Dota Academy, obviously I embrace new players coming into the scene all the time. I've actually trained multiple people from League of Legends to play the game, and they've been able to hold it. So, it's easy to say that Dota 2, though, like I said, has the highest amount of toxicity in comparison to other games. But at the same time, you have the communities that will cherish every moment with you, and it's like playing World of Warcraft. You got your guild of people that want to make sure that you're online every day and you play with them every single day of your life because they're the people you want to play games with. Whether they're your close friends or they're their faraway friends or just some guy in the European area where we're here in the US West. The community is a very important thing in Dota, and I, Party PD, value the community of Dota 2 highly above all others, and I would gladly sacrifice as much time as possible to make the community a much better place. So, in reality, this community episode is to highlight a lot of other things about the community. The community is also consisted of pro players and people who want to become pro players. Usually that also has a slight bit of toxicity in it as well. But those newer players usually like to play professional and feel like winning is paramount to their success. The biggest thing I want to talk about Dota when it comes to the community is winning is not paramount to having fun. Having fun and winning is completely different scenarios, all in all. And the community, depending on the point at which you approach it, is a whole different kind of thing in general. So, and then there's the casting community, which is another one that I'm in as well. The casters of Dota 2 are very important to, again, Dota 2's success, as they are the upbringing in pro scene coverage. So the community behind casters, as well as the community that those casters and myself, like them as well, make, are also paramount to Dota 2's success, as no matter what, on Twitch, those will gather views, and those views will be transmitted into numbers, and those numbers will be sent towards the Dota 2 overall collection of how much money is put into the community, or taken from the community and put into other locations. But overall, the community is a strong thing for Dota 2. There's the Tier 1 casters, the Tier 2 casters, and the Tier 3 casters who have some time and they decide to cast the amateur leagues. Everyone in the community is important. And if you're trying to get into Dota, and it's proving very difficult to find that community that can embrace new players, like, as much as I want to say go to Reddit and ask, Reddit's not going to tell you any good answers, because Reddit mostly has the very toxic group of players. So, for those of you watching this video, not only I hope you enjoyed this community episode where I also slam on Reddit a little bit, but for those of you who are watching this episode on the Dota 2 community episode of Dota Academy, the Discord will be linked in the chat or in the description, and if you want to get into Dota and you just need the right person to help you out, feel free to give me a call in the Discord. It'll be Party PD. You'll see me with I'm pretty sure I have my sun hat on in that Discord. But without further ado, guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the community episode. You could tell that I'm getting a little choked up about it because it's very hard to help bring the community together. It's been a project of mine for quite some time, and that's why I started Dota Academy, because there's people out there that need help in Dota and just in life as well. And I want to help you out as much as I can. I know this seems like a really feely episode, but I just want you to know that in the MOBA universe, I'll keep my eye out for you. And if you ever need any help, I'll help you along the way as much as possible. I'm trying to be a community member. It's proving very difficult to get it on Reddit, so I'm going to do it here. So, for those of you watching on YouTube, thank you so much for watching this video. We'll see you in the Discord, and hopefully this will bring you into Dota 2 and shed some more light on the situation that is our community. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed. This is Party PD, signing off. Thanks for watching this episode of Dota Academy. We'll come to you next time with some more epic videos about learning Dota. If there's anything you need me to highlight, please feel free to say it in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.